What's up, good people? It's your boy Jay Free coming back at you. I know it's been a while since I've been on here. As you can see, I've grown my hair. Of course, I do that every time it gets cold outside. Um, but I'm glad to be back with you. Just been dealing with some issues, personal and otherwise. Um, but I'm back. I've been paying very close attention to everything that's been going on, doing a lot of research, just trying to make sure that my knowledge is thorough, that I have a full understanding of the things that I present and that I talk about, as well as my perspectives have changed on some things based on research and trying to understand. So I just wanted to shout at everybody today, those that have supported or those that have taken the time out to listen or to follow me. I'm sorry I've been gone, but I'm coming back. um, some of the things that I've been paying attention to. You know, I whenever we deal with any issues, we have to always get to a root. You can never fix an issue by trying to address the issue right where it stands. You have to find out the root cause. You can't cure an alcoholic by trying to cure him from alcohol. You got to find out what's the inner demon that fighting that causes them to constantly go back to drinking. The same with a crackhead or otherwise. They have to acknowledge within themselves that there's a problem, and that's where the realization of where we deal with the inner demons. And so it's the same with every issue in life. In order to overcome or to conquer, we got to find out the root. And so we know that mostly everything that we face and deal with, the root cause is racism, white supremacy. The structure system that have been put in place that have created and directed a culture, and the culture have produced what we see the result of is racism, white supremacy, and that's the system, the culture in which we exist today. And so there's a lot of things been going on that I've been paying attention to. I just wanted this to be brief to let people know I'm coming back. But one thing is my conscious brothers and sisters. As I've been paying attention, I'm new to this because for me, my journey is personal. I'll get into that later on. But as I've been introduced to what they call the conscious community, coming from a fairly religious background, it's crazy because consciousness is a state of being. It's not a cliche statement that I see that it appears to be. People feel like because I know Jesus is alive, I'm awake, and boom, I'm conscious. But it's so much. Conscious is a way of life. Consciousness itself means that I'm awake, correct? Means that I'm aware of what's going on. So to claim to be conscious and yet continue to portray and carry out the same actions that we did before we were conscious, how can you claim to be conscious? And this is what I find within the conscious community. It's a lot of bickering, a lot of fighting, a lot of arguing over a lot of issues that really are futile and that are minute. You understand what I'm saying? In comparison to the major issues that are in hand when it comes to our community. And so them definitely some issues I want to address, is talking about this consciousness and talking about how we fight amongst each other over so many issues, when the main issue at hand is how can we recuperate and overcome the obstacles that lie before our community in the wake of this racism, white supremacy. As we begin to acknowledge it and as we begin to wake up from it as a community and we see what's going on, what do we do? And so one of the things I want to talk about within those issues is I also hear a lot of people making reference to saying that we don't need leaders anymore. And I partially agree with that statement in the context that we don't need any more Martins or Malcolms, you know what I'm saying? Because we don't need to have all our eggs in the basket where, we completely exposed to the enemy and they can knock our head off and the movement fails. But what we do need is order. There always has to be order. And there's such a huge gap and such a dysfunction within our community that in order to accomplish order, we must have leaders. But we don't need individuals again. But I do believe, my opinion is that we need to have a committee or a council, a round table of sorts, whatever we would call it. We can come up with it as a community, but we need to have a committee, and this committee needs to be made up of elders as well as established and intellectual young people that can mix, young ideas with elder wisdom to govern us as a community. And I believe that it would help bridge the gap. The days of old, especially within the black community, that's one of the things that we had was that grandmama, big mama, granddaddy, if he was around, which unfortunately in our community was not a lot of times. But however, we had the elders in the family that held the family down and held the family together. And within the community, my big mama knew the cats down the streets, big mama, and so on and so forth, to where the community was kind of really, we didn't have a lot of outside interference. Everybody handled things within themselves because of the community and because all the elders was together. So, but we exist now as a result of this RWS, racism, white supremacy. We exist in a system now where there's no respect for elders. You see what I'm saying? The young people, they don't have no respect. And myself, I'm kind of in the middle because I'm under 40, but yet I'm over 30. So it's like I'm in touch with the youth, but I'm still in touch with the elders as well. But I see both sides, and these are issues that we need to address within our community as well. Talking about, I've also been observing, how many people, again, going with that claiming to be conscious, but yet everybody want to be watching Empire and supporting and doing everything else that's negative to our community. Talk about how money affects our community so much, and how we are so unaware, of, our desire to put money before everything, or our desire for money before everything, is the one of the major things that plagues our community. You know what I'm saying? Everybody trying to get their paper, to the point where they neglect responsibility to the community, and this is where we struggle. So it's a lot of issues that are going on within our community that I've been paying attention to, that I hope we can begin to address and talk about some of these things. My boy LA have definitely opened a platform to be able to talk on the radio, to be able to talk with outside people, and I like what he's doing. I definitely support my brother, and that's somebody that I've known since I was a youngin. And it's funny how things work, because you never know what life is going to do and how it's going to lead you and where it's going to end up. But steps are ordered before we know. And I also want to talk about one of the things I observed is we can't defeat hate with hate. And so as we acknowledge racism, white supremacy as the root cause of our issues and dilemmas, we have to really be open-minded and pay attention, and not be so overcome with hate that we allow hate to rule, and we make decisions that ain't smart. Every white person is not the devil. I know people gonna give me flack for saying this, but you have to understand the point. The thing that I'm talking about is, white people are bad. Yes, they hate us, and we got all the problems. I'm not neglecting or denying none of that. What I'm simply trying to bring to question, or bring to point, is when you look at what's going on in our community as a result of RWS, and we know that it's psychological warfare. So we know that these have been subliminal messaging and so forth that have gone on through our community, throughout generations, throughout history, through media and so many other outlets that they've used, symbolism and so on and so forth. And so as these tools have been used against us, the white folks sit at home and they watching the same thing and listening to the same thing. The difference is the influence is on another side. See, just like we've been programmed and our community have been taught, to not like themselves and to hate themselves and to try to want to be white. The same way it taught white people that they privileged because they white, and that they special, and that they better than us because they white. So I'm not saying they not responsible for their actions. And I'm not saying that they don't do what they do. I'm saying for us, as trying to find solutions to the problem, we got to really realize real deal that they brainwashed on their side, just like we done been lied and manipulated on our side. So at the end of the day, it's a group of people that sit at a hierarchy at the top that control all of us like puppets on the strings. And so, yeah, as the white man is the enemy, every white person don't just hate black people. There's some white people that I've known, that I've met, that I can't deny that I guess maybe I'm prejudiced because I don't really have white friends, and that's my fault. I don't know, but that's just the way it is because I don't trust them. But in reality, even though I haven't trusted them, I have known some that have trusted me, and that have never that I can say in some instances have been more supporter or better friend than some of the brethren that I done known. And it's just my commitment to the brotherhood that I just done always within my natural instinct just have never been able to cling to or really become friends with. But through life, you know, you meet them on the job, you meet them through sports, you meet them through school. So I've always met them and have befriended them that way, but haven't been able to cling. But I'm just being honest. I don't hate white people, and I don't believe that white people genuinely hate me. I believe that just like I'm awakened, white people can be awakened too. Those that can be awakened. That's just my opinion. And I say that because for us to be able to have solutions to the problem, those that are willing to help, we got to allow the help, because we got some Negroes out here that's doing us way more damage than any white person, baby. In fact, when I look at the history of this thing, we done had more black people do more damage to us as a community and as a whole than we have had any white people do any damage to us. You know what I'm saying? I'm clicking on my phone now just because I actually took a picture today that I saved because this was Marcus Garvey, and I wanted everybody to be able to see. I got lighting problems probably. I don't know if y'all can really see that, but this is a picture of Marcus Garvey, and he say, this is Marcus Garvey, a quote: "I was convicted and sent to prison, not because I defrauded anyone, but because of the wicked enemies of my own race. I would not blame the few whites that contributed to my conviction. Neither will I blame the government. I blame the malicious and jealous Negroes who for the sake of money will sell their own mothers. My own black people lied on me and I was sent to jail for 5 years. Our people are so wicked to themselves, and they are not satisfied until they are telling the enemies something about themselves." Marcus Garvey, and I quote. So, hey, this is what I'm talking about. I'm trying to find ways for us to have solutions to how we can really become victorious in this war that we in. Because don't be fooled, it's a war. And I understand who our enemy is. So I'm not condoning white folk and trying to say link up and party with them. What I'm talking about is real issues that we have to address at the root of our problem. And the root of our problem is not every white person that we walk by on a daily basis. The root of our problem is the elite power structure that controls all of us like pawns on a string. See, if we can get white people to wake up and acknowledge racism, white supremacy, and see what it is and how it affects us as well as them, you see what I'm saying? Then now we even got a better, stronger force to help fight against the real enemy. You got to understand what we up against and what's really going on. And like I say, that's why I have to just talk about some of the things I want to talk about, because I'll get to going, and these are issues that we got to talk about independently because there's so much to cover. But again, it's your boy Jay Free coming back at you. Like I say, glad to be back. Hope that, you know, people take the time to want to listen. I got some things that I'm gonna be coming back with in the days to come. I'm not gonna be as distance between as I've been in the past. I'm trying to come at y'all as often as I can, as frequent as I get information, because it's a lot of things to be discussed and talked about. And I'm just a voice to the community, a small voice, but I do believe it's in me. I can't the urge and the unction for me to share what I have, I can't deny it. So I got to do it. And whoever listen will listen, and whoever won't, they won't. But, you know, that's what it is, and that's what it's going to be. Your boy Jay Free. Love my people. Blessings and peace I wish to all. One.